This video has been planned for a very long time. I am already breathless. But if you didn't know already, I am pregnant. And since before I started trying, I had a plan to, as soon as I got my positive, this is over a year ago I started this plan and bought all these tests, but as soon as I got my positive, I was going to try out all these different test brands. And I'm missing my first response, I have to run and grab that. But I was gonna do it as soon as I got a positive, but I have been getting positives for a couple of days. They've just been so faint, it's been like impossible to tell. So now I'm like, I was just gonna see which ones can pick up early, but I've waited a couple of days, literally two, for it to get a little bit darker just because I felt like it was unfair otherwise. So I'm gonna be sort of seeing which ones are okay, which ones you can't see anything, which ones are just dodgy. Hopefully they're all in date still because, again, I didn't think it would take this long to get pregnant, so. For the record, First Response is the main test brand I use. I do have cheapies, but they don't show up anywhere near as early. I do use First Response. I tried Clear Blue, it was not as sensitive. But then saying that, like, the line was barely there on a Clear Blue, yet the Clear Blue digital easily picked up that I was 1 to 2 weeks pregnant. So I think the digital is better than normal Clear Blue, just randomly. So I won't show you my pee because I'm nice like that. This pee is a 4-hour hold, but I have been drinking, so it is a little bit diluted. We'll start the timer. So basically you're meant to read First Response in 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minute window. So here's our first response and we'll just have to wait. The control line is already popping up. Already, it's been a minute and my line is showing up. So First Response is very quick, very rapid. This is not the rapid response test, it's the early result pregnancy test, so it's meant to be more sensitive than other ones. Not necessarily faster, there's also a hair on it, which is kind of gross. It's been a minute and a half. I might start dipping the next one while that finishes processing. Next up, we will do a Clear Blue. This is the first response. As you guys can see, there is a line. It showed up fairly quickly, pretty much within a minute. So that's good. This is 3 minutes now. Digital. This is a rapid one. So it should show up as fast as 1 minute. I will note that it's already got a not pregnant line and I just got it out the box. You guys see that? So that's really weird. End is currently white. Once you dip it in pee, which I just did, it turns pink. I don't want to drip pee on my paper, but as you guys can see, it is now pink. And here we go. That blue line is getting very much more blue and it's traveling across the little window here. Can't zoom in any further for you guys, sorry about that. Control line, I think it's coming up to a minute now. And there's maybe something showing up or starting to show up, but I swear I can see it on the camera, but not in person. It's been just going on 2 minutes and I'm starting to see a line now, but it's still so faint that it could easily just be an indent. Like if I didn't know, I would be questioning myself, especially because Clear Blue are known for their indents. So it's now been 3 minutes and this is the result. There is definitely a line there. I hope you guys can see it. I might turn the... You guys see that line now? But it doesn't have like... It's not that dark, especially if you put it next to the... Like the First Response is so obvious. This one is... Like it's obvious, but it's questionable, if that makes sense. Like you don't know for sure if it's just a shadow or an indent or if it's real, if that makes sense. So I think so far the First Response is still my favourite. It's still very much more obvious and seems more sensitive. It also didn't really show up, like this showed up within a minute. This one, even though it says it should show up within a minute, but give it 3 minutes to double check, it showed up slower. And we know for a fact that these guys can show in a minute. So like you'd think the rapid result ones would be better, but it wasn't. Next up we have the Coles pregnancy tests, which is early detection as well, same as basically all of them nowadays. And it looks suspiciously like some of the online eye care ones you can get. It's like the same packaging, pretty much. But this is it. And that is a little sachet. this is it. I shall now dip it. Better read the instructions this time. Back on, and let's start. Okay, this one, the colour bands should appear within 1 to 5 minutes. So let's once again wait. You know what? I'm gonna do the similar brand at the same time, so we're not wasting time waiting for things. So oh, this one looks different. I'll show you guys in a sec. Okay, so this one looks different, but these are these guys. Cole's one still hasn't gone across, and it's been like a minute. Like, I'm starting to wonder if it just doesn't work. This is incredibly boring. It's now been 2 minutes. Put this back in for longer. I don't think it absorbed fully. I put it in and it's like instantly going across. I've now dripped pee on my paper, so that is disgusting. And I apologise for everyone that has to see that. I might dip this one in as well. I don't know whether to go from 5 minutes from when I had actually started going across, or like what is the go there. Dip this one in for longer as well. But already I'm just going to say that these guys are dodgy. Like, oh wait, that one's starting to, I don't know if you guys can see that. That one's starting to show a little bit of colour going across. But they're like so slow. They just don't look that great. Like, it doesn't look right, you know? Look at this. Like, is there meant to be a line going across that way? No, there's not. There's not meant to be a line going sideways. They're meant to both be this way. So, I don't know what's happening there. And this one's just stopped going across altogether. It's been 3 minutes. I'm gonna say these ones are dodgy. And Mika doesn't like coals, so she's gonna enjoy that fact. But yeah, like this one's not even going across at all. Oh, actually, this one is almost out of date. One expires next month. But this one's got years left on it. So, but like, can you guys even see how weird this is? Like, look at that. It's so weird. You can't really tell. Oh, actually, I think maybe there's a, oh no. And then there's also the fact that there's a horizontal line that shouldn't even be there. So I'm gonna say no way to Coles. It's got another minute to appear. Don't get Coles brand. I'll put those guys aside and start on the next one, because this one's gonna take a while too by the looks of it. Okay, so this one's a digital. So this is the ones we're doing now. Okay, so this one has a little loading symbol sort of thing. I'll make it really bright so you guys can actually see the loading symbol. There you go. I'll try and tilt it up right so you guys can see better. And this, oh, actually, oh, you can't really see, but there is a faint second line there. So this one was actually able to pick up something, I think. We'll see how it dries a little bit better. This one, on the other hand, is, yeah. But honestly, if I saw that, I would think I wasn't pregnant. This one's almost out of date, so I don't really blame it for struggling so much. And you can just see a line. Maybe. Now it looks like it's faded again, so we'll leave that a bit longer. But anyway, this one's loading. I guess we'll just let it load. I don't even think there's a line there anymore. I think it was just the way the dye was running. Oh. Hey, there we go. Okay, so this one does show up, which is how the one yesterday showed up, even though the line was way fainter than this. So, yeah, there you go. Show the clear blues together. So, yeah, awesome. I am pregnant. 1 to 2 weeks. That's about right as well. And that showed up pretty much at 3 minutes. So, it's a 3-minute wait time, which most of them seem to be, really. I'm going to do the 2 cheapies at the same time. So, these are the ones I use a lot because you can get them in bulk for fairly cheap. You can get like 100 for like 20 bucks. So I use my ovulation tests as these as well. And then I get like 60 ovulation and 40 pregnancy or something. Because I wasn't ovulating and like went almost 1,000 days without a period. So I never knew whether I was pregnant or ovulating or what. So cheap ones it was. These are the ones that I found out I was pregnant with Hayden on. These ones you're meant to hold in your urine stream for 15 seconds. And then this one is meant to be used for IVF, I think. But it is very similar. Like, I'm pretty sure it's the exact same, to be honest. They look very similar. So there we go. We'll let those guys go. They're 30 seconds apart. You guys see that? It's gone like white, which is really weird. That has never happened before. Anyway, but with these guys, the thing I hate about them is this clear plastic cover. Like, it's really deep in there, that the actual test is, that like you get a reflection and it's really hard to see what is and isn't there, and I just don't like any that have this cover on them. With these guys, the cover is like in there, it's not sitting on top, it's right up against the test, so it's just a lot better. This one has been 2 minutes and you're starting to see a line. That one's still progressing a little bit. These ones I've noticed take closer to 5 minutes to show pretty much anything, but there we go. You guys see that really faint line that's starting to show? These guys aren't quite as sensitive. I don't know if you guys can see it. Faint, but it's got pink on it, so like you can tell it's not an indent. So that one's nice. Not as sensitive and not as obvious as the first response and even the clear blue. I have gotten negatives, false negatives with these cheapies before. And there's this one at 3 minutes. So I think there's a faint line on this one too. Remember, this one's a little bit behind the other one. I'm going to start the next lot of tests and come back to these two. So the next one is the Freedom one. So this one looks suspiciously like one of these two, and it's giving me doubts, but actually it looks pretty much exactly like the Coles one, doesn't it? Hopefully it magically works better. Okay, it is in slightly different packaging. Where's the Coles one? Here's the Coles one. It's in like a metallic, the Coles is in a metallic packaging with like this on the back, whereas this one's much more plain and it's more matte and feels a lot different. So otherwise, okay, it's not the same. It's sort of like a mix between these two. If you guys can sort of, how do I do this? You guys can sort of see it, like it's blue like this one, but it's more, and it's got the same like end as this one, but it's smaller and more the shape of this one, if that makes sense. Like, it's sort of similar to both of them, but it hasn't got the plastic cover over the top. It's actually got like the small, it's got the small indent, and like the plastic is right. Actually, I don't think there's any, there's no plastic, so it's just an indent with nothing covering the P. That's great. Okay, so this one you have to hold for at least 15 seconds. I mean 5 seconds, sorry. So that's started. Oh yeah, that one's going across already, so it's already better than the other two did. While we wait for that guy to start, I'll just start the timer. It's gonna be a bit behind because I forgot about it. Okay, so these ones have been going for 6 minutes. Let's just get them off. They're both the same anyway. And yet they literally look very much the same. Bloody recording stopped recording, that made sense. They're both positive, about the same positiveness, very faintly positive. But if you've been using these for a while, you'll know that that's a positive, just because it is positive. You get a lot of fake positives and indents, but these ones are just, they're more positive than any I've had so far. So there's those. Cool, we've got the control line nice and strong. It has got some weird banding, like weird banding across it. And it's been over a minute, almost 2, and it's still not showing anything. Results within 5 minutes. Do not read after 5 minutes. So this one specifically says read within 5 minutes, and this one is in date. We've got 2 left. So, oh hello, see my face. This one I haven't tried the ovulation predictor kit, and I won't be able to anymore. So I'll give that to someone, but I'm gonna leave this one to last. Packaging is a big deal. So let's do the 4Life ovulation and pregnancy test. Obviously just the pregnancy version. This is meant to come with 5 ovulation tests, which it has. These are the massive ovulation tests. Don't expire for another year exactly, just about. So ovulation tests, put those aside. And then these are the little pregnancy tests. There you go. Okay, so it's like a strip, but it's like a lot thicker than all the others are. I still can't really see a line. I'm thinking one's starting to show up, but it's not obvious, and you've got to read it within 5 minutes. So that doesn't bode well. One end should have a hand symbol on it, and that's where you should hold it. I do not see a hand symbol, so that is not that's not following the instructions. Easy peasy, and results in 3 minutes. Down there, so I don't get my paper peed on. It's been 5 minutes with this one, and I do think there is a faint line. You guys see that? Oh, maybe if I actually hold it up properly. Yeah, so there is a faint line, but at the same time that only just appeared in the 5 minutes, and you have to read it within 5 minutes. Otherwise, it's apparently invalid. So I would be I would be doubting myself if I took this test first. I would think, like, is it a fake? Is it just an indent or an evap because it's been after 5 minutes because it took that long to pop up, and it's also not very dark. So I probably wouldn't recommend this one again. Seems like all these cheap, like the dip tests are better than these ones, I think. I do like the fact that this one doesn't have the plastic cover that the other two like this do. Oh wow, okay, it's been less than a minute and I just saw this one is already showing something, so that's pretty good. I think that's probably, I forgot to time it. Wow, so that went well. But yeah, it has been a minute and a half and it's already starting to show a line. You guys see that line? I don't know if making it darker helps or not. Oh, there you go. So yeah, that one showed a line pretty quickly. That was pretty good actually. I'm quite happy with that. Like, that is a definite line. Saying that, first response still easily beats it. Like, first response is so dark and obvious and came up so quickly. But at the same time, for a much cheaper test, I have to remember how much all of these are. But considering it's a dip test and they seem dodgy on their own, this one came up pretty quickly. It's about to turn 3 minutes now. And yeah, like, I would definitely think I'd be pregnant if I saw this. So this one gets a little surprising thumbs up. And last but not least, hopefully, is the Pregnosis, which I think is a pretty new brand, but fairly well known. Alright, this one's in a completely different packaging to the rest. So that's very obvious what brand it is. Expires next year in March. It expires when I'm due, so that's pretty cool. So this one sort of looks like, I think it's leaning a little bit towards these cheapy tests, but at the same time it does, oh my gosh, there's so much dog hair on that one. It does resemble a first response. Like, it feels a lot more solid and sturdy and better quality. The lid is very, oh there we go, the lid is very stuck on there. Okay, the end also looks like a mixture of first response and the digital clear blue. Do not read after 10 minutes. Results may be observed in 1 minute. So this one should be fairly quick, hopefully. 5 seconds in stream or in cup. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hasn't even got across yet. I did see it like absorb fairly quickly up there, but it seems to have slowed down now. And this test, meanwhile, is looking good. You guys see that? I don't know. It's not actually that good, really, but... Oh, here we go. Okay, something's happening. Okay, while that's going across, I'm just going to point out that these ones, this one, which I believe was the, this one's the Coles one, so this one was the Freedom one, has definitely got a line now. Like, but it does specify that you can't read it outside of 5 minutes, so that is slightly annoying, but there is definitely a line there. Also, another reason I don't like the glass cover is there's a piece of dirt under the glass cover and I can't wipe it away because it's underneath. I do think there is a very faint line there, but it doesn't have colour, aka, oh, this is so hard to maneuver. It doesn't have colour, so I would definitely doubt it. So this one has a line starting up already, and I forgot to time once again, so that was great. But I think it's been about not even 2 minutes and there's already a line showing up, so that's pretty decent. You guys see that line? Get you super dark. That's a bit much, isn't it? Super bright. But yeah, so that's a pretty decent line. I like it. I'm gonna just let that sit while I figure out what we're doing with all the rest, and I'm gonna start a ranking. Oh, there's pee on my paper again. Well, first response definitely goes, okay, my top is your bottom, so if the screen flips, suddenly it's because I am flipping this around, but first response definitely goes at the top. It was definitely the best for me. It showed up the earliest, showed up the quickest, and it was the darkest and most obviously pregnant. I mean, like, look at this. Oh, oh, oh. That is pregnant. So, yep. Response is best. This one went pretty well, actually. I'm quite happy with this one. But I think I'm going to put this one in between, because that one is a bit faint, and this one, like, it just gives such clarity. You get the exact weeks, and it showed up pretty much dead on 3 minutes. So it did go by what it said, and it was very reliable. And then this one is pretty close. And then I'm going to put this one because it was cheap, cheaper than some of the rest, and it came up really quick. And even though it's a cheap strip, it feels better than these cheapy strips, if that makes any sense at all. And the line is definitely a line. Like, it's quite prominent. And like, I wouldn't doubt myself that I was pregnant if I saw that line. And then I'm going to put the clear blue, which has dried a lot darker, for the record. Oh, there's so much cat hair. I shouldn't have put my stuff there, but anyway. So clear blue's next up in my little ranking. I am disappointed in the fact that it took, like, it was meant to be a rapid result one, yet it was slower than some of the other ones that weren't rapid result. But it did show a positive. It wasn't as strong a positive as I thought it would have been, especially considering this one can pick up a positive. And then these guys I have to chuck in because they're so cheap. You can get them for such a good deal. I can't remember which one is which. They look the same. But I would definitely buy these ones over these ones. I think these ones were a little bit more expensive and you couldn't get as many at once. These ones you can get in a bulk pack ovulation tests as well that I use. I'll probably link all of this actually, but I'll definitely link these ones. They are showing a line. They do take a little bit longer to process, and they also don't come with instructions. Every like third pack I've gotten comes with a random instruction booklet and the rest just don't. That's why I knew that they're meant to be held in pee for 15 seconds in the cup and results at 5 minutes. And then these guys, I think it's going to go in this order. So this one is the Freedom. Yeah, this one's the Freedom. It did show a line, and the line is pink, and it's pretty obvious, and it took a while, but it was, you could see it was working straight away with this one. I'm going to put the Coles one last. This one was almost out of date, so I sort of am surprised it worked at all. But it does have a line there. It has shown up with a line, and even though it was a little bit dodgy and I had to put it in for longer than it said to get the line, that could be because it's dry and out of date. But yeah, I wouldn't really trust any of these three, to be honest. There is a line there now. The thing with these is it said to read within a certain amount of time or it's invalid, and they all took longer than that time to show a line. And it's not as if I'm not pregnant. Like, look at that dark line there. And the Coles one was the worst. So Mika's going to really enjoy that because she is a Woolies person and doesn't like Coles. But I still don't know if there's even a line there, and it was so dodgy and it took a while to even show anything legitimate, and and there's dirt under the screen and it's just terrible. It's just terrible. But yeah, that's my ranking. I definitely recommend First Response. I've never had a false indent, a false positive with First Response. I have had false positives with these guys. And with Clear Blue, I didn't have a false positive when I took it, but when I came back like an hour later, it had dried like even darker than this now. So with Clear Blue, I definitely recommend do not like throw it out and then come back to it and think you're pregnant. The line appears after a while, whether you're pregnant or not. So I hadn't even ovulated in that cycle. So I definitely wasn't pregnant at the time. Definitely read the Clear Blue within the time frame. And the prognosis is actually pretty good. I can't remember the price of it. That's why I'm a bit iffy on it. But yeah, so I think these ones are up, Clear Blue and up, I would recommend. Probably these ones if you're testing heaps, and these ones I probably wouldn't recommend unless you're testing heaps in bulk like I was, for whatever reason, testing daily, when you don't know whether or not you will be pregnant or whatnot, I would get these. But the ovulation tests are better for most people unless you're weird circumstances like me. I would just never get these, pretty much. And I honestly don't even think I like the clear blue. I like the clear blue digital, but not this one. These are my top 4. Ew, there's pee leaking everywhere out of the cheap ones. That's disgusting. These ones are my favourites. And Prognosis was quite surprising. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this helps some people out there, because like when you're wanting to test and it's like, do I go buy the most expensive brand or do I get a cheap brand, and then if it's negative still, do I trust the cheap brand? And like, if you're anything like me, you will just want to buy every brand and try every brand, and that's expensive. So I hope this helped some people, seeing the brands work, seeing how quickly they showed up and how early and all that stuff. For the record, I am 3 days before my period is due. I am 11 DPO. My first response was showing really not sure if they were positive or not, faint lines at 8 DPO. I implanted at 7 DPO, judging by my random symptom. So within 48 hours, within 24 hours, I was getting something on first response, but it wasn't certain. And within 48 hours, I had an answer. I think I recommend first response. If you're in Perth, then Coles had a special on first response, but I think it's just finished. So it's probably long finished by the time this video comes out. In general, no sales included. Terry White chemist or pharmacy, I don't know which one it is, but Terry White has the bulk 6+1 first response for the cheapest price. I think it's like low 20s. Everywhere else it's high 20s for that same packet. And you may as well just get the 7-pack, because the 3-pack is like low 20s anyway. That's just, first response is my go-to. A lot of people have been complaining about indents and how bad first response is nowadays, but I've had no problems still, and I've been through 2 pregnancies with first response. It is still the best in my opinion. Prognosis was a surprising little hidden gem, and also the For Life, this little guy, was quite surprising as well. And Clear Blue I don't like. I just don't like it. These cheap digital cheapy, I keep saying cheapy and I don't mean cheapy. Maybe the baby brain is starting. But the digital that says how far along you are, 1 to 2 weeks. This showed up when my line was still really faint. Not this exact one, but the first one I took. Like it showed up before there was actually a obvious positive on these ones. So I'm really proud of this thing. It is definitely one of the most expensive ones you can get. And I don't know how long this lasts. Mine has lasted about 24 hours. I took it 8 PM last night. I'll run and get it for you guys just to see if it's still on, but it was still on a couple of hours ago. Okay, so it's now off. So it lasted just under 24 hours for me. Somewhere I googled said like 15 to 30 hours. It did over 15, but under 24. So that's only, it's annoying because it's like you want to take this and then use this for all your announcements to people, but you got to go buy another one and take another one for every time you want to announce it, which is really frustrating, but really smart because it makes you buy more. But surely they can get a battery that lasts longer than 15 or whatever hours. I'll quickly show you guys my progression shots. Oh, okay, so the Clear Blue I took yesterday was actually different. The one I took just now has like a cross, means positive, whereas the one I took yesterday, hold up the right way. The one I took yesterday is just a line, means positive. So this is the one I took yesterday, and there is a faint line, but it's really faint and it's dried darker. So there's that. And this is from when I like knew. These are the obvious lines that I was like, yeah, I'm pregnant. Oh, I meant to do this. This is a lot of struggling, just so you know. So it starts with this one. This is the one I got in the morning yesterday, and I was like, holy crap, I'm pregnant. So yeah, it is a lot more obvious on camera now. It was not as obvious before. It's dried a bit darker. Yeah, and then this one was midday yesterday, and this one was this morning. And then this one was just now. So there you go, little progression shot. And yeah, that's it. my battery's about to die, so this is really good timing, and I got to clean up all these pregnancy tests off the floor. But thank you for watching. If you want to follow along my journey, I will definitely be doing pregnancy updates, pregnancy videos, motherhood videos, because I still have a toddler and I still have a life. And pretty much all the videos I've done since I started my YouTube channel. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit subscribe if you want to follow along, and press the like button if you like this video. I hope it helps some people, and I'll see you guys whenever the next video is. I've got so many planned and I have no idea what order is all going in it, and I'm speaking really fast and I swear it's a pregnancy symptom. Anyway, or just excitement. Bye. Bye. Bye, peoples.